Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Austin the Stash for the week that was. Joining me today is Melanie Wilkinson.
And what a week it was.
Indeed, it absolutely was a week. Melanie Wilkinson from JustMelanieW.com, of course.
Thank you.
Let's dive right in. Pretty serious topic to start things off with.
It is.
A lot of crashes happening on Highway 34 and Highway 81.
Correct. And last week we got together, as we do every week.
Yeah.
I left here, it was probably an hour later. And once again, everybody was back at the intersection of Highway 34 and 81 on the bypass, where, again, there was another very serious two-vehicle collision. Thankfully, this time around, there were no fatalities.
Yes. But
this comes as there's been big conversations in the last few months about the 34 corridor between about Waco and almost to Bradshaw. And then, of course, our Highway 81 bypass. Mm-hmm. And the conversation started, there was a motorcyclist killed on the 4th of July on Highway 34, just east of the ethanol plant. A couple days later, 3 people were killed at the Highway 34 East Junction with Highway 81. 2 days later, a person was killed on Highway 34 near the airport entrance. And a day or so later, another person was killed, this time at the infamous 81-34 intersection. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of fatalities in York County in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That started the conversation about what to do. What is wrong? What is happening in these areas that could be a cause of it?
Right.
Now, when that last crash, not this last week one, but the one last fatality, York County Sheriff Paul Verbka reached out to our state senator, Jana Hughes, asked her, please, could you talk to somebody on the state level about, is there something that can be done? Do we need a stoplight? Do we need safety measures? Do we need to reduce the speed limit? Is there anything you can do? Mm-hmm. It was only 2 days later that the Department of Transportation was actually sitting at different locations along the 81 bypass, watching traffic patterns, things of that nature. So,
research is now being done.
They're doing it. And then they installed, about a week later, some rumble bars there. But now here again, in this last week, Sheriff's Department, the fire department, everybody's right back out there again.
Clearly, rumble bars wasn't enough to be to put a stop to it.
No, and so you can see a lot of traffic on social media of people in this area talking about what exactly is the problem. Now, there have been also many crashes on the bypass at the intersection with Recharge Road. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we've always had situations down by the interchange just because the traffic's so heavy.
Sure.
So a lot of people are just curious about who is in control of making the changes. Mm-hmm. Some people online will say, why don't city officials do anything about this? Why don't county officials? Well, they don't have that power. These are all state highways.
That's wild to say they don't have that capability.
Now, granted, yes, our city fire and city police and our county sheriff's department and our county dispatchers are all involved.
Right.
Every time something bad happens. But no, they don't have jurisdiction over these stretches of highway. So it's going to have to come from the Department of Roads. They will have to decide what they want to spend money on and what's going to be effective. It could just be a simple issue of people are just not paying attention.
Sure.
That
seems a little to be speculative here. That seems a little what's the right way to say it? Because of the amount of accidents that are happening, it doesn't seem likely.
No, it's not. This isn't a coincidence.
Right.
And also, all of these intersections are marked with stop signs that say traffic does not stop. Now, there are reduced, the speed limit is reduced through areas especially through this 8134 area, that is marked at 60 miles an hour.
Not that anyone believes, not that anyone follows those.
But I was on there this morning, just today, and the traffic going through there, they're going 70, 75.
Right. Yeah.
So now the sheriff's department did do some extra patrol as far as watching, speeders through there and everything. But there's a lot of things for them to do. So they can't just sit
at this one intersection
and wait.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, the big point here is that it is a big community conversation right now. People do want answers. No one wants this to keep happening.
Right.
So just for people to understand, authorities are looking at it. And so it's not being not looked at.
It's just a matter of the higher up you have to go, the longer it takes for something to get into place.
Probably. And, and unfortunately, I know it is true. What's the price of a life?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But, when you get into these kinds of projects, the state's going to look at some money too. So just brought that up. Hopefully this week nobody will be heading back out to that intersection or any of the other ones along the bypass or on 34. I guess it's just pay attention and
pay extra,
be as careful,
be very
look twice,
vigilant.
Because the sight lines are great.
Just be very vigilant. Know that this has been going on, and also, I guess, contact the Department of Roads as well. And,
correct.
And say,
if
hey,
you have ideas or you have concerns, make your voices heard.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes. That is the way to go about this, because our city officials, they want to get things changed. They want a safer area down there, but they just can't do anything about it.
Not their jurisdiction.
That's crazy, man. That's wild. Let's go a little bit different direction. So York County will have a household waste collection event.
I know. It's so exciting sounding.
Oh, man. What am I going to do with these expired ibuprofen?
But everybody has a stash of weird things in their garage, their basement.
Sure.
On their porch, something.
Yeah, absolutely.
A can of something.
I just happen to keep mine in my office. I've got a leg over there. I've got old radios.
We have rusty cans. You don't really know what's in them.
Sure.
You have batteries. You have strange things you don't know what to do with and you don't want to pay to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
So, I know, this is riveting. But you ought to see the line.
Yeah?
Every year when this happens, and it only happens like every other, the line is staggering. And they have people in hazmat suits in all these stations. The mile, we're talking maybe a mile long. The line is people wait in their cars. I'm not joking.
Really?
It's something to see.
This sounds like a thing the radio station should make a day of.
You should. You should go down there and watch. Now, maybe they'll even give you a hazmat suit.
I get a hazmat suit. I get to see all the weird stuff. This sounds like a win-win.
Well, it's gonna. Okay, so here's your day, Austin. Okay, it's Saturday, September 21st at the York landfill. You know where that's at?
I do.
Okay, and it's being sponsored by the Four Corners Health Department. They got a grant from the Nebraska Environmental Trust to help pay for this, which is important because this is expensive. So what this means is that landfill people and these experts will collect this stuff. They'll take it all away for free.
Oh, nice.
Right. So before you head down there with your boxes of stuff, you have to remember this. You have to be from York County.
Okay.
Oh, but you can go down and watch.
Well, I'll watch. I just won't take anything.
Okay. They won't be taking anything from businesses. So this has to be coming out of your house.
Residential areas.
Yeah, they don't want these big giant.
Yeah. Don't bring your toxic goo, all right?
No,
if you're a business, figure it out.
This is okay, what they're going to accept is going to be, are you ready for this list?
Ready.
Acids, antifreeze, banned materials like chlordane.
What?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know
and
either.
DDT, cyanide. Do you have cyanide?
I've got so much cyanide left over.
This is the chance.
I just actually have a whole bunch of apple seeds that I just leave in a box.
Oh, that makes cyanide eventually. Yard fertilizers, flammables, oils, and gas in small quantities. Mercury.
What's a small quantity of oil and gas?
Well, I suppose not like a barrel.
it's a barrel, smaller than a barrel.
I don't know. Like maybe. Do you have like an old gas can? I don't know.
I picture old gas can.
I didn't make the
list. You're 100% right.
What is a small quantity? Well, I suppose you just can't take. Like, I don't know. I suppose like a gallon at a time.
Yeah, that feels right.
Makes sense? Okay.
That feels right.
All right, what do we say? We said mercury. Okay, paint, stains, varnishes, poisons.
Goodness.
Well, it could be like
I love that it's right next to paints and varnishes and poisons.
And poisons.
Of course.
And pesticides.
Okay.
Which I would think would be the same as poisons, but they are two different things.
Wildly
Fluorescent
different.
bulbs and lead acid batteries.
Okay.
What you cannot bring are tires. That's a whole different collection of that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Farm chemicals, no. Electronics, medical sharps. I suppose that means like needles and recyclables, because there's different avenues for that. And they also don't want empty or dried out paint cans. Now, apparently, because those can just be thrown away.
Oh.
They don't need to. But if they have paint in them, then you can take them.
Wild.
Empty, no.
Empty, no.
Full, yes.
Full, yes. Even half full.
Yep.
Yes. If there's still some rolling around in there.
Exactly. So this is a good chance, because this isn't going to happen again for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So
that's it's so funny mentioning this list, because as I'm starting to think back, and I'm like, well, actually, the people that lived in my house last left a whole bunch of stuff that I guess now that I think about it, I don't really know
what it is, and you don't want it.
Yeah. So just bring it to the dump on Saturday.
They will have a way to get rid of it that you don't have to worry about. And especially like if you have kids or pets, or even just for yourself.
Especially if you got a bunch of poisons lying around.
Well, the poison. I'm going to have to go through my stash of poison to see which ones I want to keep
poisons,
and which ones I need to. It's like, yes pile and no pile. So keep or discard. So I'll have to go through that beforehand. I don't know.
Do you know this was big during the pandemic? There was the lady on Netflix who was like helping people get rid of stuff, declutter, and you look at the thing and say, does this bring me joy? Oh. You got to start do that with all of your different poisons and pesticides.
Does this bring me joy?
Does this bring me joy?
No.
This
Take
one
it to
doesn't.
The landfill.
Cyanide. Does this bring me joy? No. To the
landfill.
It might. It might. It depends. I don't know.
It depends on what your purposes are. So. Anyway, I know we're laughing, but yes, but it's a good thing.
Yes.
Again, it only happens every so often. Take the opportunity. If anybody has questions, they can call Four Corners Health and they'll answer it for you. Maybe they'll tell you more about what's a small amount, what's a large amount, and what exactly is a poison.
Yes, absolutely. So, and when is this again?
It's going to be Saturday, September 21st, from 8 to noon.
There we go.
Only 4 hours. Get in line.
No wonder the line's so long.
Yeah.
There's a short window to get in there. All right.
Okay.
Very cool.
And if you go and put your hazmat suit on, take a picture, we'll share it.
Absolutely. Okay. If I can make it down the 21st.
21st.
Oh, I'll be in Iowa calling a Concordia game for Parker. Dang it.
Darn it.
Maybe Gene can do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just letting you know.
All righty. Okay. So speaking of paint, downtown York is getting a new mural.
We're really into the paint today.
Oh, man.
Okay, this is cool. Yeah. All right. So did you know that York, it's like a state designation. York now has a York Creative Arts District program.
Yes.
You've heard of this.
I spoke to Carrie from the Anabemus Palmer Museum about.
Did she tell you about this mural?
She did not tell me about this mural.
Okay, this mural is actually going to be on the east side of the North Printing and Office Supply Building.
Okay.
So a committee headed up by Tony North and Annie Redfern have been working with an artist. His name is Mike McPuff from Fort Collins, Colorado. And they've been working with him on his concept. He's going to actually be doing the work. It's going to be over a 2-day period, September 25th and 26th. Right now they're kind of narrowing down the details. I saw one of the specs that they had already put together. It's kind of a modern, very colorful. It's got like different objects that you would use to paint or do music, and it's a very like, what did I call it? Modern? Yeah, it's not your typical old prairie town type of mural. Yeah. It's more.
It's new.
It's cooler looking, but it's very vibrant. Yeah. So the really neat part about this whole thing too is that he is going to be working with high school kids from York High School. Mm-hmm. They're going to be helping him.
Oh, really?
Paint the mural. He's going to be teaching some art classes along the way and that type of thing. So
that's really cool.
And the way I understand it, it'll be done over the span of 2 days. So people will actually be able to, walk down there, drive by, and watch him and the kids doing the work. So
that's really cool.
And then, of course, we'll have the end result for
years to come.
So it'll be a really interesting, colorful, artistic addition to the downtown.
That's very cool.
I just thought I'd mention that because they announced that it's actually going to happen. So
when I was in high school, there was a program called the Summer Honors Program, and it was basically the whole goal of it was to give high academic achievers something to do over the summer for a couple weeks. And the class that I was in, the social sciences class, actually tried to make Holdridge, Nebraska, the mural capital of Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
And so they painted a mural. They put together this proposal for the city to be like, here's all the different places a mural could go. It didn't go anywhere. They painted one mural, and then the city of Holdridge was like, that's good. You guys did a great job. But so who knows? Maybe this is the start of the beginnings of what Holdridge said no to.
I don't know.
Probably not.
But it is a neat start. And the guy that's the artist, I read like his bio, and he seems like he's a pretty interesting character too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I bet his Instagram is very, very cool.
I haven't looked.
I'm sure it is. Most artists' Instagrams are.
He's a skateboarder, tattoo artist / he dabbled in some other things, and then now he's art full time.
And his name is McPuff from Colorado.
Mike McPuff.
Man, wild.
So
McPuff from Colorado.
I get it. Oh, yeah. Austin. You sucked me right into that one. Did you see how slow I am? I'm a little slow because I've been going through my pesticides. So I wasn't quite catching that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, well, it's been a week.
It has been a week. The week that was, and last but certainly not least, what a wild transition this is. It's many local churches celebrating some big anniversaries.
And it makes sense. A lot of them are marking like 150 years, 125 years. St. Paul Lutheran in Utica had theirs last weekend as an example. St. John's in rural Waco, they're going to have theirs this weekend. The county just celebrated its 150th anniversary itself recently. So it makes sense that all of these church congregations, the ones that have made it, are celebrating about that milestone because they've been here. But when I was doing some research on one of them, I ran across this really cool comment that an actual pioneer, he wrote for this old history book for York County. And in it, he talked about how when he came here, the old wagon and,
yeah, horse-drawn wagon, couple of
with
cows.
Nothing but the clothes he was wearing, a Bible, and the faith that somehow they would succeed here. So, and it talked too about how when these pioneers got here, there's nothing here. Right?
Yeah.
They don't have any houses. They don't have anything. But
reminder, not even trees. Like
no.
the one of my favorite facts to tell people when I lived in Orlando was that trees are not native to Nebraska. Every tree was planted by somebody or is an offspring of a tree that was.
Right. And so when they got here, a lot of the times the first thing they did before they even built, they lived in mud, old soddy houses.
Yeah.
But the first thing they all did was get together, find some wood and travel with it, bring it here and build a church.
Wow.
And, they use those churches for worship, but they use them for schools where they did their local little governments.
Sure.
It was the hub of their community. So it's really neat just because it seems like this time of year, especially late summer, early fall, a lot of these congregations are celebrating these huge milestones. 150 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
So I just thought that was interesting to bring that up and to see, even if, for some reason, a lot of them, those first churches either got hit by lightning or they, burned or or their congregations got so big that they had to build, and some of them have built new churches, a lot of them over the years, but the congregations,
I'd hope so. Over 150 years.
But the congregations have stayed.
Yeah,
so
that's really
anyway,
cool.
I just thought I'd mention that since so many people are having these big gatherings and celebrations. So
very good.
Yeah.
That
I told you it was a week.
You were not wrong.
We had parishes, poison, painting, and then of course,
and then all of the accidents
and horrible destruction on the bypass. So,
oh goodness! What a week that was!
It was. It's been a pleasure.
It has indeed. For all these stories and more, you can go to justmelaniew.com.
Yes,
where you're all over the place in York County.
Yep. Come and take a look.
Absolutely. Well, Melanie, thanks so much for coming on once again. I'll see you next week.
Okay, I'll be here.